Hi there. Before we plunge in, if you're online and you can hear me, if you could please type that in the chat, that will help me know the equipment's working well before I turn it over to the angels. Thank you. Beautiful. So let's dive right in. This is Adria. I'm a conscious channel of Angels Ariel and Raphael, and they'll let you know who's speaking. And the angel update is anything goes. In service of humankind, anything goes. So we'll see what they want to speak about today. This is Angel Raphael. Yeah, so we join with you today with mixed broadcast. Sometimes the news is about things slowing down, and sometimes the news is about things speeding up. And today is mixed waters. So physically speaking, this is Raphael, things are a bit chaotic. This has to do with upgrades to the physical now. So we have been working with some of you interdimensionally, working through the physical layers of yourself to access these dimensions quite naturally. And so you've begun to see how this has a positive effect, all of these changes in the physical realm. And yet it still right now feels a bit chaotic because a lot is shaking loose. So if you have physical symptoms right now that don't make sense otherwise for your physical condition, your health situation, it may very well be this shaking loose of, let's say, whatever is between you and your very fluid, multidimensional self. So things that feel like discharge, either through the skin or other physical systems, may very well be this shaking loose of, let's say, things that served the old structure, which was to stay in one dimensional now. And you have this fluidity to move between dimensions now with the physical form. And there may be some residue, some leftover. It wasn't residue at the time, it was holding the firm structural systems in place. Now it's not serving you so well in the fluid. So as you are more and more your interdimensional self, these old, not so needed in this now parts of your physical being are going to begin to discharge if they have not already. So if you feel tiredness or certain unusual hunger pangs, please honor that, because your body is trying to help you to help itself. So if you're sensitive enough to listen to that, that will be the best aid through this. So that's the mixed blessing in terms of the physical right now. It is absolutely, we would say, blessing, not curse. It's not something wrong with you. However, it feels a bit of a drag right now. You're ready to go, full speed, and in fact you are going full speed. But the body feels like it's pulling back a bit. Trust that it's doing consciously what it needs to do to be more fluid, to be serving your multidimensional activities. This is Angel Ariel. So on the more positive front, you're released now, releasing yourself much more into these other realms, whether consciously through the exercises we have given through this channel and others, or merely by feeling a bit more magical or stepping more into your dream bigness, your wishing and receiving. underline receiving. It's not so much right now about the intention setting as it is the receiving in large chunks what you have wished for over long periods of time. So it may feel a bit mixed because you are receiving things you have long wanted and you can tell that they are here to stay. It's not flash in the pan. And yet, the body is saying, hold on, things don't feel so well right now. So if you can say, generally, especially if there doesn't medically seem to be an explanation, what's happening is clearing and release to be even more fluid. And the more fluid you are, the more that means you're not going to have to wait so long now for the new wishes to come through to you. So in terms of receiving what you wish for. So things are in a fluid dance, and those old structural pieces are letting loose. That's all. You don't have to worry over much about this phase. It's quite positive, and yet we understand it doesn't feel that way necessarily in the physical. If this is Adria. If you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat, and we may be channeling here for another few minutes, and then I'll check the chat because I know there is a time delay. This is Raphael. Yeah, so continuing to work with what you best know. It's not a time for new magics. You can experiment with anything new. What we mean is you're not missing some magic formula here. You already know what works, so lean forward into that and relax into knowing your wishes are coming through now. It's this, what feels like discomfort in the physical self doesn't mean you missed something or that you're being targeted in some way. Good. So mostly this time we ask you to relax into knowing that the body self knows what it's up to. That's all. Question from the chat. Are the vivid dreams also part of the discharge? Ooh, great question. I've definitely been dreaming more lucidly than usual. This is Adria. I'm not sure if angels dream. We could ask them that too. This is Raphael. Not so much the discharge, but the fluidity. So the dreamscape for some of you has been one of your more active ways of playing interdimensionally up till now. And some of you are now opening to this facility in you, meaning ease of practice in you. So dreaming is different than meditating or being conscious in the physical self while moving between dimensions, and it's different again than astral travel. Sometimes, rarely, these are combined, but we'll talk about them as separate. So the dream space, you are able to take some pieces of the known reality, let's say conscious markers, to let you know what's going on, and then you really allow yourself fluidity. People can change shapes, circumstances that aren't so practical for daily life can occur to allow you to work through some of the things you're curious about. Now, if it's a nightmare, you might want to look at if it touches on a fear that you haven't cleared yet, yourself might be trying to work through it without bringing that scary monster into your present conscious now, waking now. So if it's a fearful dream in your daylight time, maybe take note of what was the theme. Does this make sense to me based on things I'm afraid of? And can I then hold that place of fear very consciously in the waking hours with a lot of love? So you can call in grace or angels if you like, but knowing that, okay, there's nothing I need to really fix here, but to understand that there still is a fear present in me, and so I'm going to hold love around that so that I don't need to feel I need to pretend I don't have the fear, nor do I feel that I need to fix it. So holding love around something means I acknowledge there's something here to be healed, and worked through. And also the mind isn't going to be the one to heal and work through it. So I hold it with love in a sort of innocence. Okay, I don't know how this is going to resolve, but I know I can consciously bring love to it. And certainly you may call in angelic grace if you like. You have enough power to do it on your own, and you don't need to do it on your own. You can call in grace of your angels and guides as well. This is Adria, another question in the chat. What are the pangs of hunger about? Oh, I've been having unusual cravings as well. Curious about that. This is Angel Raphael. Absolutely, absolutely. So you had come to a sort of plateau, many of you, whether you followed the what you know your body likes best. You come to know what the body needs and wants in order to feel quite comfortable and thrive in health. Again, whether you followed it or not, you knew what those things are. So now comes a craving that seems to go counter to what you know is health for you, and yet you can't quite shake it, maybe over some hours or days. We would suggest cautiously try that, because your body may be telling you there's a vitamin, there's a texture, there's something in this that is going to help me discharge some of what I'm trying to release. So take this one cautiously. If you have an unusual craving, you don't need to have 5 servings of that thing, but try a bite and see, does the body respond, thank you for listening, or does it say, what are you doing? That's not healthy for me. So take that one cautiously, but we would suggest that unusual hunger, maybe saying, body saying, I need more fuel, I'm doing quite a lot now, I need extra. And if it's a particular craving, it may be saying, this is something I want to discharge. That would be expected. Emotionally also, you may be craving something a bit out of line for you, a different type of experience that you usually crave. So you may trust that as well, that yourself is trying to move a bit to shake off some old stasis points that were serving you before but don't serve the multidimensional fluid now. This is Adria. A couple more questions in the chat. Any advice on money stuff? I'm needing to get a job because I'm out of money. I applied for a city job, but I'm out of money now. And while I'm here in my myself, I'll ask the other question. Any advice on information on equinox and the eclipses? Thank you all for the great questions. This is Angel Raphael. Yes, for money, as we had said in some chapters in the book, this is a time when it feels like a narrow passage regarding money. So this will come ebb and flow in the next few years here, where some days and hours and months, hopefully not more than months, it feels like access to traditional ways of accessing work, whether that's through government assistance or work or whatever is your most leaned on source of income, may feel strange, like something is going on. You don't have the work you usually do, or some glitch in the online system, or paperwork means there's a pause in your benefits. Something like this that's more systemic, in other words, third dimensional ways of abundance, work, and dependency of some kind. There may be some feeling like there's a narrowing of the passage, like that goes away for some brief periods of time. When that occurs, we would encourage you to lean into your more magical self. All right. Is it food? Is it warm clothes? Is it housing? What is it that I'm feeling pinched around? And rather than leaning into wishing for a certain budget amount for that, can I just ask the angels directly, look, I need help with this. I need my rent paid. I need some warm clothes. I need more food. And then be a little open. It may come through money in ways different or the same as you expect, and it may come in gifts. So in these times, as structurally money is moving from a structured vibration to a fluid one, there can be these turbulence or hiccups where you feel you don't have access to it for short periods of time. You won't have an interruption in your ability to have abundance in your life, but it may take some creativity or humility on your part to be able to receive gifts if you're someone who doesn't typically receive, or to look for it in other ways, not necessarily effort for it in other ways, but to be open that it may come in other ways. So continue to pray strongly to your angels about this. And instead of assuming it's going to be the same kind of job, for example, put your wishes strongly on what you were going to use the money for and see what comes through. It may be a short-term job or opportunity, maybe a gift, maybe a job that comes through but a little different than you thought. So having the openness that abundance may come in easier ways than it has in the past can be helpful here as well. This is Raphael for equinox. It is a time of balance, this one. Sometimes equinoxes are opening up many different things, but for this one, let's say it's a balance point. So you may feel coming back online with your balance if you felt out of balance. So for this one, you might bring to the table in the days leading up to the equinox anything that feels out of balance in spirit or in life, to bring it into the energies of balancing so that you're consciously participating with. It's going to happen anyway, this balancing, but consciously participating with. I notice this is out of balance, so let's bring it into the blessing of the equinox, this balance point. For eclipses, these can be magical times of opening into shadow and light. So the less that you put mentally, cerebrally on eclipses about what they're about, and the more you are open to particularly to carve out some time to be in a meditative or receptive space, this may be a time for some of you of clearing old shadow through tears, let's say, or insights. And it may be a time of new gifts coming online, new visions, new abilities, which may not be so obvious. So if it's about activation of gifts, you may feel something or feel that was a powerful meditation and not know what it's about yet. Again, cerebrally, you may not have a clue what's going on. But eclipses, again, know how to work with your energetic field. We would suggest for this one not having a particular intent, because it may already be working with you towards clearing, and then if you're focused on gifts, you miss the gift of the clearing, and vice versa. It may be coming online for you to bring you some gifts, and if you're thinking that eclipses are only about clearing, you may miss this new enlivening, new insights coming in around gifts, meaning your skills, multidimensional skills. Okay, this is Adria. That was a nice, varied angel update today. Lots of nice nuggets for us. You're asking me to speak about the book. Well, I feel I've been over promoting it, but for those of you who don't know, Angel Insights for Unprecedented Times, the second edition was just released last weekend. Already a bestseller in 3 countries, United States, Canada, and the UK. So very delighted. Thank you all for helping to bring that visibility to the angels' messages. And there's a lot that's really resonant about how to navigate these incredibly confusing and wonderful times. So you may want to take a look at that if you haven't yet, if it calls you. Thank you so much for being here. We'll be back again with the angels next month. And if you haven't yet joined my email list, that's where I also will post upcoming courses and interesting offerings and transcripts of angel messages. So lots of love to all of you, and enjoy this wonderful time of chaos and clearing.